Hey guys, Alex here. Thank you so much for joining me for today's full body Pilates workout. In this routine, we'll be sculpting our abs, arms, glutes, and thighs. We'll be warming up and cooling down the body so you'll feel incredibly strong and well stretched after completing this routine. For this workout, I'm going to be using a medium resistance booty band or loop band. This piece of equipment is optional. You can do the entire workout without any equipment and still get in a great burn and get fantastic results. So with all of that in mind, let's go ahead and get right into it. I'm going to place my band down to the side of the mat and I'm going to separate my feet nice and wide, toes turned slightly out. We're going to stack the vertebrae one on top of the other, growing up really nice and tall through the crown of the head, lengthening through the spine, melting the shoulders down. From here, we're going to place our hands on our abdominals and get into our Pilates breathing pattern. So we're going to breathe deeply in through the nose and slowly out through the mouth. Good. In through the nose, expanding the back of the rib cage. And exhale through pursed lips to control the speed of that exhale. Nicely done. In through the nose and out through the mouth, letting your shoulders soften and relax as you do so. Now let's add core engagement. We're breathing in. Abdominals relax, and as we exhale, we're drawing the navel in toward the spine. Good. Inhaling. And exhale, really engage the core. Imagine a corset tightening around your midsection. Good. Inhale. And exhale, keep those shoulders relaxed as you engage the core, drawing the belly button in toward the spine. Nicely done. Okay, from here, we're going to start to warm up and mobilize. So we're going to bring the hands out in front at shoulder height. Palms are touching. Neck is long here. We're inhaling. And as we exhale, we're going to open arm twist to the right, keeping the hips facing forward, looking out over right shoulder at right fingers, and then back to center. Open arm twist to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale to open and twist. Inhale and exhale. So as we move, we're opening through the chest, we're stretching and mobilizing the neck, and we're rotating around the thoracic spine. Make sure you've got a gentle little micro bend in your knees here. Your neck stays long. You're sweeping your arm from one side to the other. Good. Focusing on that mobility, focusing on rotating around the spine. Nicely done. Let's take 4 and 3. Twist a bit further each time for 2. And we'll take 1 more each side. Rotate and rotate. Amazing. Let's take our hands on either side of the head without pushing the head forward. We're going to keep the chest nice and open here. I'm going to bring my feet so they're about shoulder distance apart now, and we're going to lower the elbow to the side of the body and then inhale to lift. Exhale, lower opposite elbow down toward the mat or the opposite side of the body. Good. And to center. Good. So we're moving laterally from side to side, keeping the chest open, not pushing the head forward. We're keeping the neck in line with the spine as we continue to mobilize the spine this way as we breathe out. Good. Inhale and exhale. Try to deepen your bend with each repetition. Good. Continuing to stretch the neck and mobilize the spine for 3 and 2. Recentering nice and tall in the middle. And we'll do 1 more and lift it up. Nice work. Okay, now we're going to take the hands on either side of the head. I'm going to turn in this direction so you can see what I'm doing. You can stay facing forward if that's better for you. We're going to roll down, and when we are rolling, we're starting to bend the knees. Now I want you to imagine that you're ducking under a piece of string or a fence, and then you're going to come up. So you're rounding chin to chest, rounding through the spine, ducking under something, and then lifting up, opening the chest. Good. So rounding forward, bending at the knees, and then slightly arching the spine as you come up. Good. Really bend low into the movement and then come up, round, ripple up through the spine. Good. You can take a smaller movement if you don't quite have the mobility or the flexibility to round quite as deeply. Good. Ripple down, round, and arch to come up. Good. Let's take 3 and 2. I want you to really focus on plugging belly to spine as you lift up. Nice work, and lift. Amazing. Now we're going to warm up those hips and knees and glutes by lowering into a squat. So my legs are hip distance apart here, feet are parallel. I'm lowering as though sitting back in a chair and then lifting, pushing up through the heels to do so. Lower, abs into lift. Lower, weight in the heels to lift. So switching on those thighs, switching on those glutes. I want you to have a look at your knees and make sure they are tracking in alignment with your hips and ankles. So you don't want them knocking in or out to the sides. And if they are, I want you to take a more shallow squat and focus on form. We're just warming up here. So let's make sure we're starting off with that really good form and alignment. Nice work. Inhale, lower. Exhale to lift for 5. 4, drive up through those heels for 3 and 2 and final 1. We're going to hold it here. Really lengthen through the spine. Stick that bum out behind you. Nice flat back. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Lift it up. I hope you're feeling a little bit more warm. I definitely am. We're just going to make sure our hips are nice and mobilized before we get into our standing lower body work. So we can circle the knees out to the side, drawing nice big circles, rotating the leg bone around in the hip socket. Feels really good, especially if you have any sort of sticky areas in your hips. So what we're going to be doing is starting off with some standing glute and thigh work. Then we're going to move down onto the mat for our upper body work. And then we're going to do some mat glute and thigh work and then finish off with our abs and our cool down. So we've got a great workout ahead of us. Let's take 3 and 2. And last 1. Amazing. I'm going to put on my booty band. Again, this is optional. And if you're working through any particular exercise and it's getting to be too much with the band and you're starting to lose form or your knees are kind of pressing in, you don't have the strength to hold your legs parallel, I want you to take it off because again, it's better to move with good form. We're going to go into some squats here. So I'm just going to show you a side view of what your form should be looking like. Your feet are about shoulder distance apart. You're going to lower and lift, lower and lift. So let's just take a couple like that. We were just doing these, but it can feel a little bit different with the band on. So make sure you've got that good alignment, ankles and knees lined up, glutes switching on. And when we're feeling strong and comfortable here, we're gonna pulse, pulse and lift, pulse, pulse and lift. Good. So double pulse, weight in the heels to drive up. Core engages as we breathe out. This is what it looks like from the front. So notice I'm not letting my knees travel in toward each other. Pulse and lift. Gently pressing against the resistance of the band with those thighs. And if that's too much, remove it. Good. We're keeping the spine nice and long here. The chest lifted. And we're really focusing on switching on those glutes and thighs every time we pulse and lift. Pulse, pulse, and lift. So we're gonna build on from this. We're gonna pulse, pulse, hold, and gently abduct the knees, rolling out onto the outside edges of the feet, then back to parallel, then lift. Whew, that burns already. Okay, so pulse, pulse, abduct the knees, back to parallel, drive up through the heels. Good, pulse, pulse, open those knees, back to parallel and lift. So even without a resistance band, you're gonna feel the work in the glutes and thighs. Pulse, pulse, open, parallel, and lift it up. Good, you're doing so well. Remember, if you're losing form, you can also do a more shallow squat. You don't have to get super low for these, but if you're feeling strong and confident, do challenge yourself by getting extra low. Good, pulse, pulse, open, parallel, and lift. Amazing work. We've got 3 more sets. And lift it up for 2. And lift. And last one, we're gonna pulse, pulse, and then we're gonna hold in our squat position, and we're just gonna pulse those legs out. So nice flat back. Get low if you can. We're gonna pulse, pulse, pulse. Give me 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh my goodness, thighs on fire. Okay, from here, we're gonna change it up a little bit. We're going to switch positions. So I'd like you to come into a slightly hinged forward position. If you're next to a wall or a chair, you can use that for a bit of stability. So I'm gonna start off balancing on my left leg. My left arm is on the wall for a bit of support. And I'm slightly hinged forward, nice flat back. Now from here, I'm going to bring the right knee in, stabilizing myself on that left foot, and then kick it out behind me. Bring it in and kick it out. Keeping that spine long, flexing through the foot as you kick out behind you. Powerful kick. Good, stabilizing yourself on that left foot. Nice tight core. Kick back behind you, pressing through your heel as though you were trying to kick open a door or kick something away from you. Gentle bend in your supporting knee. You're doing so well. We've got 8 abs in, 7 kick with power and energy, and 5, 4. Good work. And last one, kick it out. And now we're just going to hold, lift that leg an inch higher, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it up. Whew, even that supporting side was burning. Now we're going to take that right leg out to the side. So the legs are parallel, feet are parallel. Gentle bend in that left supporting knee. We're going to take the leg away from the body and then bring it back to parallel with the opposite leg, just hovering it above the floor. Good. So again, even without the band, you're still going to feel the work in the outer thigh and glute. Hold for a split second at the top of that lift and then bring those legs back to parallel. Good, core is tight. That'll help you to maintain your balance so you're not leaning too far over to your left side. You're keeping your spine and posture upright. Good. Let's go 9, 8, 7, moving with control. No need to rush. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. Okay, those were tough. Let's switch sides. You're doing so well. Let's hold on to a wall or a chair for stability, or you can challenge yourself by balancing. I'm going to hinge forward, put my weight in that right supporting foot, bend that left leg and kick it out behind. Bend it in and kick it out. So I'm powerfully kicking back. The foot is flexed, really important. So you can drive back through that heel. Amazing. Try not to arch your spine here. You don't want to hurt your back as you're performing this exercise. Let's go 6. Kick out with power. Amazing work. Last 3 and 2 and final 1. We're gonna hold it here and balance. Lift the leg a little bit higher. You can hinge further forward for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. Okay, now going into those side leg raises. So the legs are parallel, and then we're sending that left leg over to the left. Pausing for a split second, really engaging the thighs, and then bringing the leg back in. Now for extra added bonus benefit, I want you to really use resistance to bring that leg into parallel. Imagine you've got some resistance on the inner thigh as well. Mind-muscle connection, working the outer thigh on the way out and the inner thigh on the way back in. Let's go 7, 5, 4, keep that posture nice and tall, 3, 2, and 1. Oh my goodness, okay. Our thighs and glutes are getting so well worked here. You should be really proud of yourself already. Okay, so let's lower down into a squat. We're going to take the hands in a prayer position, nice flat back. We're gonna stay low in step 1, 2, and then we're gonna lift it up. Lower into your squat. Step 1, stay low. Step 2, and lift. Lower. Squat steps to one side, lift up. Squat steps to the other for 2 and lift up. Good, so get nice and low for those squat steps. Lifting and then lowering and stepping to the side. Pressing against the resistance of your band if you're using it. Good. And lift. Now, for a challenge, we're going to continuously step from side to side without the lift in between. If that's too much, you can layer in that lift for a little bit of a break between each repetition. Otherwise, stay low, and we're gonna move from side to side. 2 to the left, 2 to the right, staying nice and low, keeping your height even and level here. Good. Shoulders are down away from the ears. Core is tight, back is flat. Good, thighs are working, glutes are working. Let's go 4, 3, 2, and last 1. Amazing work, well done. Let's remove that band. I'm gonna place it off to the side, and we're gonna move into our upper body moves. Okay, from here I'm going to come to the back of my mat. I'm going to lift the arms up nice and high. I'm going to fall forward and start to walk the hands forward on the mat, bringing myself into a high plank position. So make sure you're creating a flat line with the body, your wrists are below your shoulders, and you are lengthening through the spine. From here, you can either hold high plank or you can add in these shoulder taps. So I'm tapping right hand to left shoulder, left hand to right, right to left, left to right, and then I'm gonna walk my hands back toward my feet, bending through the knees, rippling up through the spine and lifting. We're gonna repeat that. Come forward, walk the hands out, find that nice strong high plank, alternating shoulder taps for 1, 2, or hold in high plank if the shoulder taps are too much, 4, and walk back and lift and lengthen through those arms. Good, come forward. Walk your hands forward. Nice, strong, stable, high plank. Plug navel in. Tap, 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 and tap. And slowly walk it back and lift and lengthen. Good. Coming forward, getting really strong in that plank. Lifting to your abdominal wall as you tap those shoulders, staying stable across your shoulders. Try not to rock too much from side to side, and lift. Another easier option here is to lower your knees for those elbow or shoulder taps. 2, 3, and 4, and then pike up into your plank and walk it back. So that's an easier variation if you're still building up plank strength. That's a really good way to build up strength without straining your body. Good. 3 and 4. Walk it back and lift it up. 2 more sets. Really waking up those shoulders. Good. Working the upper body. And 4. And bring it back and stretch it up. Good. Last one. We're going to come out into our plank. And we're going to move into some continuous shoulder taps. So we're tapping and tapping as we hold in plank. Remember, you have the option of lowering your knees down to the floor and focusing on building up that shoulder and upper body strength from that position. If you're in your high plank, your back is flat, you're not lifting your bum up too high, and you're tapping from side to side, or holding in a high plank. We've got 6, 5, you're doing so well. I know this is tough. 2 and 1, hold, and then ease yourself down to the mat like one piece of steel. Amazing work. Whew. We can take a moment here, just take a couple of deep breaths before we move into our next exercise. I'm going to move the band to the top of the mat because I'm going to use it for the next exercise, but for this one, we're separating our legs about shoulder distance apart, stretching the arms out long, lengthening through the spine. We're going to pull the elbows back, then straighten the arms, keeping the palms facing down, then bend the elbows and lower those palms. Good, so repeating, we're lifting up, straightening the arms, pulling back, knitting the shoulder blades together, straightening those arms, bending the elbows, and lowering. Good. Just moving around so I've got space here. I'm coming forward, pulling back, extending the arms, squeezing those shoulder blades together, bending and lowering. Lift, keep your gaze down on the mat. Extend, pull back, bend those or straighten those arms, then bend them and lower. Good. Hover that chest, work those upper back muscles, pull back with energy, straighten those arms, bend and hover down. Good. Lift, extend, pull back, draw those shoulder blades together, straighten arms, bend arms, and lower. You're doing so well. We've got 4 more sets. Pull back, lift that chest a little higher up off the mat if you can. Work those upper back muscles with every repetition. I know these are tough, but they're so effective in countering bad posture, supporting your back health and strength, combating upper back and middle back pain. Good work. I've lost count. I think we've got 1 more. Let's pull it back. Extend those arms, bend and lower. Nicely done. Now from here, I am going to hold on to my band and I'm just going to use it as some feedback. I'm going to gently push against the sides of the band as I'm lifting my arms. No band, or you don't want to use it for this exercise. Your hands are just going to be outstretched, palms facing in. So with or out, without the band, the arms are long. The gaze is down on the mat. The arms are parallel. We're going to inhale here. And as we exhale, we're going to lift the arms and lift the chest, hold, and then soften down to the mat. Inhale. Exhale, lift the arms, lift the chest, lengthen through the spine in those arms, and lower down. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. Amazing. Now, if you want, you can add the legs at the same time. Otherwise, just stick with the arms. Keeping the gaze down on the mat, keeping the spine really long here. Reaching to opposite ends of the room with those fingers and toes. We've got 4. Lift a bit higher. For 3, lengthen through the limbs. For 2, and final 1. Amazing work. I'm going to slide my hands out of the band and just take the knees nice and wide on the mat and stretch back for a moment in child's pose, lengthening through the spine, stretching out those shoulders for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, now we're going to go into some tricep push-ups. I'm going to be using the band around my upper arms for my tricep push-ups. So this is a different way of doing tricep push-ups. You'll notice, you'll feel the support of the band as you lift and lower. If you're not using your band, it looks like this. You've got your knees down on the mat. You're keeping the elbows in close toward the side of the body. You're lowering the chest and then pushing up through the heels of the hands. If you are using the band, put it in place just above your elbows. Plant your hands down on the mat. Knees are down on the floor, parallel. We're going to lower and lift. Lower and lift. Good. Now I think the band is hitting my microphone, so I'm going to take it off. You can keep it on. And notice the way that if you are using the band supports the movement. So as you lower, it almost helps to push you back up off the mat. I find with the band in place, you can actually do more repetitions. Without the band, it's a little bit harder, interestingly enough. Okay, so we're lowering our chest and then we're pushing up. We're keeping the elbows in really close toward the sides of the body, focusing on those triceps. Lowering with control and lifting, driving up through the heels of the hands. Triceps working hard, spine is nice and long, core is tight as we breathe out. Let's take 3 and 2, push the mat away, and final 1, and lift up. Take the knees nice and wide, walk your hands out in front, keep your hips elevated, and stretch into a puppy pose. Resting your forehead down on the mat, feeling that nice stretch between your shoulders. Lengthen out through your tailbone for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Amazing. Now we're going to move into our lower body mat work. So I'm placing the band around my thighs. Again, totally optional. If you're not using it, you're going to do the exact same setup. So we want our hips stacked, our knees stacked, and our ankles stacked. I've got my head supported on my hand, or you can be on your outstretched arm if that's more comfortable for you. Opposite hand is down on the mat. Now, key is keeping the legs parallel for this movement. So we're going to lift the top leg. It's my right leg, and then I'm going to lower. Lifting that top leg and lowering it. So as I lift, I'm keeping it parallel with the lower leg. That's key. I'm keeping my hips stacked, lifting and lowering. Good. Lift and lower. So with the band, you've got that extra bit of resistance. Without the band, I want you to really focus on creating your own resistance by coming up, squeezing that side booty, and then lowering with control. Good. Make sure you're looking and ensuring that the knees are lining up so that those legs are staying parallel. We're not rolling back through that top hip. We're keeping it stacked right on top of the lower hip. I want you to relax your shoulders down away from your ears here. Good. Let's take 2. Whew, it's burning on this right side, and final 1. Good. Now we're going to add a leg extension. So we're going to lift that top leg, extend, bend, and lower. Lift, extend, bend, and lower. Good work. Lift it up, point through the toes, bend, and lower. Lift up, full extension, bend and lower down. I had planned for 15 of these, but we're going to do 10 because I am struggling with these with the band. If you haven't got the band on, maybe you're moving a little bit more quickly and getting in a few more reps, or maybe you're keeping it slow and just really focusing on that muscle engagement. Good work, last one, and lower down, good work. Now I'm going to sweep the leg back so that it's not perfectly in line with my torso. It's kind of at a 45-degree angle. Coming forward, I'm gonna pulse that leg up. Slow pulses, really lengthening through the toes, keeping the core switched on. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh my goodness, side booty is on fire. Okay, from here we're going to move into an all fours position. I'm going to continue to work the right side. We're going to do a similar sequence, but now focusing on the gluteus maximus. So wrists below shoulders, knees below hips. If you want to come on down to your forearms and give your wrists a break, that's fine too. Either your wrists are under your shoulders or your elbows are in that case. So from here, I'm going to flex my foot, my right foot, and then I'm going to push up through the right heel, tapping knee down and repeating. Good. So lifting up and lowering. We want to really keep our hips square with the mat here. Core is engaged, tailbone is slightly tucked. We're coming up, pushing the heel up toward the ceiling, squeezing the gluteus maximus, and then lowering. Really connecting with that gluteus maximus with every lift. Good. We've got 5 and 4. Try not to lean too much to your supporting side. Make sure those hips stay nice and level. Good. 2, and last 1. Nice. Now we're lifting and extending, bending and lowering. Lift, extend, bend and lower. So I'm keeping the foot flexed as I lift, extend, bend and lower. Good work. Amazing. We've got 5 and 4. Push out, bend and lower. Keep pushing the mat away from yourself, away from you so you're not collapsing in those shoulders. And last 1. And lower it down. Good. Now we're going into those pulses. I'm actually going to come down onto my forearms, give my wrists a little bit of a break. I'm going to extend that leg and flex, tucking the tailbone, abs engaged, and we're going to pulse. Slow pulses. Pushing against the resistance of the band or your own muscles. Leading up with that heel. Let's go 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh my goodness. Okay, those were tough. I haven't used a band in a while, and I am really feeling it with that resistance. Okay, great work. We're doing amazing things for our body. So we're gonna come down onto that opposite side now. Supporting the head with the hand, lining up those hips, knees, and shins. We're going to place our supporting hand down on the mat, and we're gonna lift and lower that top leg. So now we're focusing on that left glute, the left thighs as we lower and lift. Good. Lift and lower. Lift it up and lower it down. Relax those shoulders. Breathe into those muscles. Let's go 5, 4, 3. Activating that side booty each repetition. and last one. Good. Now we're lifting it up, extending, bending, and lowering. Lift, full extension, bend, and lower down. So as you lower, those legs go back to parallel. Good. Amazing, keeping those hips stacked. It's a small range of movement, but it's really powerful in sculpting the thighs and glutes. So stick with it. Relax those shoulders. Lift, extend, bend, and lower. We've got 3 more. For 2. Leg is shaking. And last one. Oh my goodness. Okay, now we are going to sweep that leg back just a little bit, and we're going to lift and lower. Slow pulses. The leg is on a bit of a diagonal as we lift and lower, continuing to sculpt that side booty. Good. Lift and lower for 4, 3, 2, give it all you got, and 1. Nice work. Okay, let's move into our all fours position. I'm literally shaking and sweating. Okay, we're going to position our wrists below our shoulders, knees below our hips. We're flexing that left foot and pushing up. Lower and lift. Lower and lift. So really squaring those hips with the mat. Try not to lean over to that right side. Press the mat away so you're super broad across your shoulders. Pull your belly up towards your spine with every lift and exhale. Good. Good. Activating that gluteus maximus. We've got 5, 4, push mat away, 3, 2, and 1. Nice work. Okay, now we're coming out, extending, bending, and lowering. Lift, stretch the leg, bend, and lower. Lift it up, extend, bend, and lower. Focus on the glutes and the hamstrings here. We've got 5 more. You can do this. And 4. Nice work. For 3. Keep going. 2. And last 1. And lower down. You can stay up on your palms or you can drop down onto your forearms. I'm extending that left leg out long, flexing through the foot, and slowly pulsing that heel up toward the ceiling. Slow and controlled pulses. Let's go 5, 4, 3, lift a bit higher, 2, and 1. Oh my goodness, we're done. Thankfully. Relaxing into this stretch, breathing deeply in through the nose and out through the mouth. Lengthening through the spine. Just taking a moment before we move into our ab work. Amazing work with that sequence of exercises. I know that was challenging, but you did so well. From here, we're going to move on to our backs. I'm going to keep the band on the thighs for some of the exercises, and then I'm going to remove it, and then we're going to use it again for the stretches. So I'm going to start off with my legs parallel. I'm going to widen the knees and then bring them back to parallel, curling and crunching up, hands behind the head, lowering, widening the knees, bringing them back to parallel, and as I start to bring them back to parallel, I'm curling and crunching up. So widening the knees, bringing them back to parallel, and lifting head, neck, and shoulders up into a crunch. Now, as you come into your crunch, I want you to really focus on engaging your abdominal wall down towards your spine and pressing your low back down onto the mat. Good. Lowering and lifting. Lowering and curling and crunching up. So as you come up, I want you to look out between your inner thighs. Make sure you're gently tucking your chin. Good. Resting your head on top of your shoulders. We're keeping our elbows wide, firing up that abdominal wall for 3 and 2 and final 1. Curl and crunch up. Nice work. Now we're going to build on from that. I'm going to put my legs into a tabletop position. And from here, similar movement, but I'm going to take the hands overhead. I'm going to widen the knees. And when I bring them back to parallel, I'm going to curl and crunch up, hands by the sides. Widen those knees, back to parallel, curl and crunch up. Nice work. Reaching toward the end of the mat with those hands. If it's too much like this, you can keep your hands behind your head, supporting head, neck, and shoulders in the crunch. And you also have the option of keeping your feet down on the floor if tabletop is feeling a bit too intense. Good. Curling and crunching up. Widening those knees, bringing them back to parallel. And as you bring them back to parallel, I want you to envision both sides of your rectus abdominis coming together, creating that seam, running up through the middle of your body. Let's go 4, lift pelvic floor at the same time. Good. For 2, lift up a little higher through those shoulders. And final 1, we're going to come up and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You can remove the band. I'm going to place that off to the side, and we're going to go into some oblique work. So I'm going to take my hands behind my head, and I'm going to start off by lifting the right leg up, crossing over with the left elbow to right knee. Then I'm going to extend the right leg in, tap it again, lower head, neck, and shoulders. So we're in, extending, in, and lowering. Good. Crossing over, in, extend, bend, and lower. Good. Lift, extend, bend, and lower. So that might be a great level of challenge for you. If so, stick with that variation. Otherwise, if you want a little bit more of a challenge, you're going to bring the legs into tabletop and repeat that. So we're coming in, extending, bending, back to tabletop, and lowering down. Over, bend, extend, bend, tabletop, and lower down. Good. 3 more. Amazing work. Working into that waistline. In, extend, bend, tabletop, and lower down. Last 1. And lower down, lower both feet down to the floor. Switching sides. I'm going to do the first 5 with my feet down on the mat. So crossing over, in, bend, and lower. Over, extend, bend, and lower. Working into those left obliques now. You're doing great. Really challenge yourself by picking that shoulder blade right up off the mat. Lift, extend, bend, and lower. Now bringing the legs into tabletop for that additional challenge. In, extend, in, tabletop to lower. Good. In, extend, really work into the waistline. Good. Keep those elbows nice and wide. 2 more sets. And last 1. Extend, bend, and bring it back to tabletop. Now we're going to go into some continuous crisscrosses. You have the option here of moving from side to side with your feet coming up from the floor, or you can go into the full variation of crisscross with the legs extending. So pick your level of challenge, set yourself up, and let's go. Pressing the low back into the mat, rotating around the rib cage as you switch from side to side, working deep into the waistline, sculpting those abs. Elbows stay wide, never pulling head, neck, and shoulders from side to side, twisting through those abdominals. Good. Let's go 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and bring the knees in toward the chest and hug them in close for a moment, breathing deeply here, in through the nose and out through the mouth for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower your feet down to the floor. We're going to continue to work our abdominals for one, or our obliques for another exercise. So we're going to take our arms overhead. We're going to peel head, neck, and shoulders up, and we're going to tap the right calf, tap the left calf, tap the right, tap the left, come to center, and roll down. Good. Lift up, tap, tap, 3, 4, to center, arms overhead, roll it down. So we're working again into those obliques as we move from side to side, keeping the low back in contact with the mat, to center and lower. Good. As you lift up, you're resting your head on top of your shoulders and lowering one vertebra at a time. Lift. Upper abs are working here. 2, 3, and 4, to center and lower down. Good work. 1, 2, 3, and 4, to center and lower down. Last 2 sets. Really reach to center and lower. Good. Last one. Peel up, tap, tap, and tap. Amazing work. We're going to stretch the legs out long here. Take a deep inhale, lift up, and exhale to reach and fold over, lowering down one vertebra at a time, bringing yourself down to the mat. Peel up, reach up, fold over, and lower down with control, working your lower abs. Lift up, stretch, reach, and roll it down. Amazing. Lift, work those upper abs, and then engage the lower abs as you ripple back down to the mat. We've got 4 and 3. You're doing so well. Find length through the spine as you work your core. Last 2 sets. And bring it down. And final 1. Reach, fold, and take a hold of your calves or your ankles or your feet, whatever you can grab a hold of, and enjoy this back body stretch. Stretching the spine, stretching the backs of the legs for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now from here, I'm going to take a hold of the back of my right leg, and I'm going to engage my core, roll back, stretching the back of the leg, and then we're going to switch. Good. Coming into our single leg stretch here, drawing the shin toward the chest. Head, neck, and shoulders can be elevated like so, or you can lower them down to the mat. If you can't reach your calf, you can hold on to the back of your thigh. We're going to pause here, and then we're going to pick up the pace with the hands by the side or on either side of the tailbone. Good. Finishing off strong with our ab work here. Slicing the legs through the air, working those abs. Keep breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold. Lower your legs down to the mat and roll over onto your stomach. We just completed our ab work, and we're now moving in to our cool down and stretch. I want you to lengthen through the spine in this cobra position. And if it feels good, come up onto those palms. Breathing deeply in through the nose and out through the mouth for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nicely done. From here, I'm going to curl my toes, plant the hands down into the mat, and pike up into a downward dog. Really stretching and lengthening through the spine, lifting those hips nice and high, bending the knees as much as you need to lift those hips. Flattening out the upper back here, and we're going to pedal out the heels. Stretching out the calves, regulating the breath. For 3 and 2 and 1. Now, from this position, we're going to lower down to the mat, and we're going to move down onto our backs. I'm going to have my band handy because I'm going to use it to stretch out the hamstrings. So I'm going to start off with a glute stretch on this right side. So I'm going to cross the right leg over the left, interlace my fingers behind my left thigh, and draw that left knee in toward the chest. Feeling that lengthening feeling in the right glutes and the opening in the hip area. Feels really good to stretch. Soften your face, regulate your breathing pattern, breathing slowly in through the nose and slowly out through the mouth. Hugging that knee in a bit closer toward your chest, and then gently releasing the stretch. I'm going to place my band and loop on the bottom of my right foot. If you're not holding onto a band, you're going to stretch by holding onto your calf or your thigh. If you have got the band, you're going to flex the foot and hold on to the band, using it for a deep hamstring stretch. So you're relaxing your shoulders, but you're pulling the leg toward the chest. I want the leg to be perfectly straight here. So if it's down here, that's fine. If you have the flexibility to have it straight up, then please do so. Find that point where your muscles are stretching, where it feels maybe a little uncomfortable but not painful, as we lengthen out those muscles. Take a deep inhale in through the nose, and as you exhale, I want you to slightly deepen the stretch, easing into it a little bit more, pushing your range of flexibility that bit further. For 3 and 2 and 1. Now we're going to switch sides. Cross your left leg over your right, interlace your fingers behind your right thigh, and hug that right knee in toward the chest. Stretching out the glutes on that left side, stretching into the hip area. Breathing deeply. Relaxing shoulders. Hugging it in closer for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Taking the band to the bottom of the foot, or holding on to the back of the calf or thigh, and fully straightening that leg as we use the band or our hands to deeply stretch the hamstring on this left side. Breathe into those tight areas. Push your range of flexibility, fully straightening the leg. Keeping the foot flexed so you feel the stretch in the calf as well. Take a nice deep inhale. And as you exhale, I want you to deepen the stretch, pulling the leg closer towards you, maximizing that stretch for your final few seconds. Stretching here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Releasing the foot, putting the band down, taking your hands behind your thighs and rolling yourself up to a seated position. Seated with your legs crossed, or you can be kneeling. I'm going to take my right arm across my chest and just stretch out the right shoulder here. Hugging the right arm close toward the chest, sitting really nice and tall here. So I'm also lengthening my spine as I stretch my shoulder. Looking from side to side if that feels good. Stretching out any sort of tension in the neck as you do so. Hug that arm a little closer in toward your chest, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to release that and cross over, bringing the left arm across the chest, feeling that deep stretch in the left shoulder. Bringing the gaze from side to side if that feels good on your neck, or just keeping the gaze straight ahead. Sit up a little taller, lengthen through the spine, hug the arm a bit closer in toward the chest, deepening the stretch for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. I'm going to reach over to the right and then reach over to the left. I want you to focus on that feeling of length from your hip bone all the way out through your fingers. Let's take 2 more. Reach and stretch. Reach and stretch. And last 1. And restack the vertebrae. And let's roll the shoulders down and back. Lift them up and melt them down and back for 3. And 2. Roll them down and back. And last 1, melting away tension and setting ourselves up with fantastic posture for the rest of the day. Amazing work. That was challenging. The band really stepped it up in terms of level of challenge. So thank you so much for joining me and giving it all you've got. I look forward to working out with you again soon. If you haven't already, please be sure to like and subscribe for more videos. And if you're not already a member and want to work out with me live for extra motivation and a bonus workout each week, please do look at joining my membership. Okay guys, I'll see you again soon. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.